Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? A gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. TGIF, y'all. It is Friday. It is the 9th, I believe. Let me check my calendar here. Yep. And it's 3:15 in the a.m. Um, I do a lot of my thinking from, you know, uh, the gospel station on the radio, my walk to the office, uh, my sit down, and my quiet time. All that being said, I was thinking about a situation that kind of relates to the climate for today, in that it's basically about minding your own business and just what that looks like. You know, um, I'm all in favor of speaking up when things offend your sensibilities and your sense of justice and fair play. You know, example being this recent videotaping of the woman calling a child a racial slur, an epithet. Um, that offended everybody's sensibilities, or it should have. But there are $600,000 behind the lack of offense. I want you to think about that. People donated $600,000 to a woman who doubled down on being racist toward a child. $600,000. Now, you could care less about an individual who's down on their luck and living on the street, but you can get behind a racist. You can get behind a racist mother who felt the need to slur a child. Now, I want you to think about that as we come up on Mother's Day, in celebration of motherhood. You know, that baby that you call out of their name was somebody's child. But you're protecting yours and the sanctity and the fragility of yours. That's bothering me. Which leads me to a situation from my own life, in that, a bunch of folks were sitting around talking, and we were talking about a particular neighborhood that I want to say is primarily comprised of LGBTQIA and the elemental P's. Covering the alphabet now. The neighborhood is comprised mostly of folks from that particular group, that particular demographic. And myself and another individual who remember the early days of San Francisco in its heyday, its party day. Now, I moved here in '86. This person has lived here off and on all their life. We were talking about the things that we remember about, the club scene, and club kids, and, the burgeoning communities, because San Francisco has not always been, what it is today. And we were reminiscing about the party heyday, because I moved here in my early 20s. So yeah, it was party every night in some neighborhoods. And There's a particular celebration. It's called the Folsom Street Fair, and that celebrates the people who are into leather and all kinds of other activities that go with that. And we were talking about that in the various clubs along this certain strip. And this woman who was listening to the conversation chimed in, about how, here we go, those people don't respect families and kids. But she's all in favor of people being who they are. That's the part. That's the bait. I'm all in favor of do what you do. But, when there are family and kids present. So I pose the question, me being me, I understand that you have a standard. I respect your standard. But it doesn't go both ways. So when it doesn't go both ways, isn't that a bias? So the question that I asked is, there were two. One, knowing what you know about this area, why would you bring your kids? And two, why is it incumbent upon other people to provide information to raise your kids? Okay? Two very, for me, obvious questions. So do what you do, but hide it so I don't feel uncomfortable. Do what you do, but lie about it so I don't feel uncomfortable. Again, when there's no reciprocal response, isn't that a bias? Aren't you forcing your opinion on other people for the sake of your comfort? Simple questions. This particular individual stopped talking to me. It took me a couple of days to figure out what was going on. I'm cool with that. That same energy that you used to be biased against me and my question, I need you to keep that, because you showed me who you are, and I'm okay with it. See, what people fail to realize is that I was somebody and meant something to someone before they rolled up. There's a song back in the day when I was a kid, one monkey don't stop no show. And we have this saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. Or not my circus, not my clowns. So I'm not bothered by people not speaking. In a way, it's a reward. You need to be straightforward about that. And you guys know me. It's like, I'll tell on myself. I'm very straightforward. There's never any guessing where I am. I've cut a bunch of people off. A lot of folks don't have access to me based on something that they did. And it's not my job to make you feel good or better about yourself. It's not my job to educate you when you're a grown person. And I had to tell somebody the other day, I'm not your Negropedia. I'm not the foremost authority on blackness. you know, and it's not my job to educate you. And I've noticed that this particular individual aligns themselves with black folks to say that they align themselves with black folks, but they do nothing when they see oppression. They do nothing when they see racism. They do nothing when they see bias. So why are you picking my brain? That part. And, you know, I say this often, there's a lot of things in life that I stand flat-footed on, and I say it with my whole chest. And these are two of the things. When there's no reciprocity, I'm going to call you out on your bias. And when you're doing dumb stuff, I'm going to call you out on that. Amen? Nobody likes the truth. It's like having your blanket snatched on a cold day. But if more of us subscribe to it, if more of us are willing to say, hey, I messed up, if more of us are willing to be honest about where we are and how we think, I think we'll get along a whole lot better.